Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's Monday, May 6th. You're watching News 2 on VIA Channel 4 and 504. I'm Leslie Camisiang. Topping our stories tonight, not everyone gets to attend military academies like West Point, the U.S. Naval Academy, the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, or the Coast Guard Academy, but two Virgin Islands high school graduates recently answered the call. The Office of the Delegate to Congress, which helps with the nomination process, is marking the occasion in hopes that through a new proposed bill, Virgin Islands students will have more education options. News 2's Stephanie Brown has that story.
In November of 2018, the Virgin Islands Delegate to Congress provided seminars to students that were interested in attending military service academies. Two young men were honored today, and the delegate hopes to expand education opportunities for all Virgin Islands students.
And I also want to thank our nominating committee. You saw one of the members, Mr. Clendenin, but I've decided that in the past, some offices, the applications come in and the staff and the member of Congress decide who's the person that's going to get in. And I thought a better way to do that would be to have a nominating committee. And so we have a committee that's made up of retired educators, of former officers from the military, who know what it takes to, one, be academically where they are, but also who are able to know what it's going to take to be able to get through an academy, so that they're successful and that it's a good match.
I'd like to thank my family, my parents for being here, my neighbor Amber, also my brother who's attending University of Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, so he couldn't make it. But without them, I'm going to the Air Force Academy in Colorado. Without them, I also wouldn't have been able to get to this point with their support and helping me throughout this. Getting the nomination and then the appointment to the academy. I mean, it was all something I really needed their support for, and they were always there for me.
So where are you going?
Kings Point, Merchant Marine Academy in New York. So.
And what do you intend to do?
I intend to go into marine transportation and hopefully come back and work here in the Virgin Islands.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I'm really keen on, is that our young people have choices. I have a bill in Congress right now with the other smaller territories called the College Access Law. And this is modeled after a law that's in D.C. that, if passed, would say that if you were a resident of a small territory, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, Northern Marianas, that if you are a resident at the time of your high school graduation, when you apply to a state university, you should be treated as a resident of that state for tuition purposes.
Congratulations to Mr. Capriola and Mr. Cooper. Here's some good news for those that are still waiting for their tax refunds from the past years. Government House recently announced the release of some 1,800 income tax refunds totaling more than $4.8 million. The funds, according to Government House, would pay outstanding refunds for the tax year of 2016. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. stated it's important to issue timely refund payments and that his administration takes it seriously. He said they'll continue to work hard to address prior year refunds while making sure they also stay on top of current refund obligations. Government House is meanwhile urging taxpayers who have not yet filed their 2018 tax returns to do so right away. If you have filed for an extension, you have until October 15th to submit your returns. Meanwhile, the new chief of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is reminding business owners that they need to submit their first hurricane price list of the year by June 1st. Now, the hurricane price list is a tool for preventing price gouging on goods and services that are considered essential for the hurricane preparation and recovery. And submitting the information to the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is required by law. This applies to all grocery stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, hardware stores, water, and various types of contracting services. Now, businesses are also required to submit an update on pricing on the first of each month until November. For more information, you can contact the Consumer Affairs Division at DLCA. On St. Croix, that number is 713-3522, and on St. Thomas at 714-3522. Also, on St. John, you can reach them at 693-8036. WAPA owes millions of dollars to its propane provider, Vitol, and now Vitol is demanding that WAPA stay current or face losing its supply of fuel. In a board meeting held in late April, WAPA's executive director, Mr. Lawrence Kupfer, explained to the board that their latest petition to the PSC for a 6-cent rate increase is necessary to keep the authority current with Vitol. Henry Thomas of PRNG, WAPA's rate consulting specialist, presented a summary of the rate filing proposed to present to the PSC called The Big Picture, which included specific information justifying the need for another rate hike to generate funds to pay Vitol. Since the hurricanes, there has been an increase in WAPA's sales, but it has leveled off and since declined by 17% and has not recovered. WAPA has lost 1,370 accounts, and since the 2017 storms, for a number of reasons. Offline users include large companies like Carnival Bay and Frenchman's Reef in St. Thomas, and customers who have relocated and others who have just invested in solar energy. These figures are based on a 523 kilowatt hours of sales. Now, Vitol wants to keep the authority current with payments, Executive Director Kupfer said, based on their most recent meetings with Vitol. They want to stay current, and he added that they are going to do their best to make all the payments on time. Now, Kupfer said he and Governor Albert Bryan had a meeting in early March with Vitol where the president of the company, Mr. Miguel Aloya, made it clear that the debt could not increase anymore and that WAPA must stay current with the infrastructure payment, Mr. Kupfer said. There are talks of threats of a blackout and concerns about a default and loss of propane if WAPA is unable to sustain service. Many see this as a potential catastrophe waiting to happen, but we'll keep you posted with updates. Turning our attention to crime, a St. Croix man was arrested and charged with the rape of a 16-year-old minor. On May 1st at around 1:17 p.m., authorities received a call of a sexual assault that occurred at the Croixville Apartments in Frederiksted. Detectives from the Criminal Investigation Bureau did some investigation into this incident and placed 18-year-old Jacoy Kentish under arrest. Kentish was charged with rape in the first degree, sexually assaulting a 16-year-old minor, and Kentish was unable to post a $75,000 bail and was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections Detention Center pending his advice of right hearing. Meanwhile, police are investigating an armed robbery of a bar and restaurant on St. Thomas. According to police, on Wednesday, May 1st, around 3 in the morning, they got a call about an armed robbery that had just occurred at the Doghouse Pub located in Havenside. According to police, the victim stated that while they were cleaning and closing the bar, 3 masked men came in and demanded money from them. The men took approximately $1,200 in cash from the cash drawer and tip bucket and ran off to an unknown location, according to the victims. The incident is under investigations by the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Anyone with information regarding this incident is urged to contact 911, the Criminal Investigations Bureau at 774-2211 or Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. Coming up next, highlights from the biggest events of Carnival, plus a closer look at the startup business that won the 3D competition. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The 13D Entrepreneurship Competition brings together the best young minds in business every year, and this year was no different. 3 finalists emerged among the many startup pitches, and according to the University of the Virgin Islands, which partners with local companies to organize the event, the 3 finalists got a total of $60,000 to help jumpstart their business. News 2, James Gardner has more.
3 University of the Virgin Islands student entrepreneurs shared $60,000 at the 7th annual 13D Entrepreneurship Competition on St. Thomas. The 13D competition, sponsored by 13D Research and VIA, is designed to eliminate the obstacles of financing for UVI student entrepreneurs who have developed potential profitable businesses but have no access to startup capital.
Competition. This is our 7th year with UVI students building businesses, starting in the fall and culminating in final presentations today. We had 3 really great teams present today, composed of 4 students. They all made pitches for their projects and now have to wait a few weeks until the gala event on the 27th to find out to what extent those projects are going to be funded.
VIA has been a sponsor for the competition since it started, and their Vice President of Public Relations, Jennifer Malarangas-King, believes the competition positively impacts the community.
We're very happy to give $50,000 for scholarship and prize money. And it's great because these are young people who are making an impact. They have great business ideas. They're going to be very influential in our community, and it's wonderful to be a part of their growing process.
The competition was fierce, but in the end, the $60,000 was split between 3 businesses. Nina Scott, who got $20,500 to help start her business, Supple Body Care. Kalia Corral and Shaquan Henry, who got $18,500 to help start Analysis, a business which will sell class bracelets, and Kyle Murphy, who got $17,000 for a media company called Mad Hot Media. I sat down with Nina Scott and Kyle Murphy to talk more about the competition and their future businesses.
With Supple Body Care, I will be selling emulsified body scrubs, and basically what emulsified body scrubs it's a scrub, so an exfoliant that has soap in it, so it feels a lot more decadent than a regular scrub, and it also has like a shea butter feel to it, so it's like a buttery, soapy exfoliant. I wasn't stressed out at all. A lot of people were walking up to me like, how do you feel? Are you nervous? Are you excited? And a big thing for me is once something's out of my hands, so once I've done everything that I could do for something, I'm no longer nervous about it. Like, it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. So I knew, like, whatever happened, I trusted the judges. They would feel like if they felt I was worthy for either of the places or for money, then I would get it. So I wasn't really stressed out.
I was excited too because I knew going into the day that I was coming home with something, and it's more than I had before, so that's really the attitude I had about it. And then when they finally called my name and told me the amount, I was very relieved and very happy that we got very close to what we asked for, and then we were going to be able to get some equipment and some travel to go cover these events and promote Virgin Islands athletes. I think one thing that really inspired me is you got to be passionate in what you want to be an entrepreneur for. Mad Hot Media is this company that we're dedicated to making sure Virgin Islands athletes, their news gets out to the media sources, and I'm just really passionate about that. So I noticed avoiding the market that the athletes weren't getting enough exposure, and then I decided to find a way to fill it in a way that I could hopefully be able to make enough money to live and enjoy life as well.
For News 2, this is James Gardner.
James, thanks for that story. For more information on 13D, you can go to www.uvi.edu. On Saturday, the 2019 St. Thomas Carnival 67th Adult Parade was truly a wonder to behold. There were over 40 entries this year, each providing energy and excitement when they entered Post Office squares. Costumes were bright and colorful, and the routines were crisp, much to the delight of the crowd that packed Post Office Square. Here are some of the sights and sounds of the 2019 St. Thomas Carnival Adults Parade. And on Friday, the Children's Parade showcased the talents of some of the Virgin Islands' youngest performers. With nearly 30 entries, there is nothing like the infectious energy of children having a great time in front of friends and family and the rest of the crowd that packed Post Office Square.
Bouncing around on the bass back there.
I think I know what road march gonna be this year. Well, I feel so.
What?
Looks like a great time was had by all. Coming up next, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I hope you had a great day today. The weather is pretty good, although the trade winds are pretty brisk. We have a strong high pressure system to the north of us, and it's really just ripping those winds right in. We're seeing extra clouds and also a couple of showers. When they pop up, they are brief and then they're gone. So for tonight, 77 degrees for the temperature, mainly clear conditions. Tomorrow in St. John, we'll see mostly sunny conditions at 86 degrees and also 86 in St. Thomas, staying sunny and dry. St. Croix, pretty breezy, 87 degrees, but staying mostly sunny. Can't rule out a trade wind shower pretty much any time. The Atlantic side, if you're boating, well, be careful. Small craft use caution advisory out there because of the waves. They're 3 to 5 feet and the winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots, and that's going to be the case for the Caribbean side as well. Use caution. The waves are 4 to 6 feet and the winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots, so it's pretty choppy out there, especially for a small craft. This week is looking pretty good. Notice mostly sunny every day with a chance of a shower, especially toward the end of the week. But the good news is those trade winds are going to be getting a little bit weaker each day, so we should see better boating conditions toward the end of this week. Our temperatures are going to be hovering right around 86 degrees. Have a great night.
And thank you for that. Stick around. News 2 Sports with Gary Anthony is coming up next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. The greatest 2 minutes in sports turned into one of the weirdest 22 minutes in sports after Kentucky Derby winner Maximum Security was disqualified for an in-race foul. The racing officials, known as stewards, disqualified Maximum Security from first place for drifting on the last turn into the path of War of Will, who in turn had to alter his course and affected several other horses. The official statement released Saturday night reads as follows. The riders of 18 and 20 lodged objections against the 7, the winner, due to interference turning for home, leaving the 1/4 pole. We interviewed the affected riders. We determined that the 7 horse drifted out and impacted the progress of 1, in turn interfering with 18 and 21. Therefore, we unanimously determined to disqualify number 7 and place him behind the 18, the lowest placed horse that he bothered, which is our typical procedure. Looking at the money side, More than $6.2 million have been placed on maximum security to win. Derby runner-up Country House is now the winner, and he went off as a 65-1 long shot. Can you imagine the mad scramble to find those tickets after the race? Yikes! The Preakness, the second leg in the Triple Crown, is on Saturday, May 18th, and that should be quite interesting. From ponies to hoops, the NBA playoffs continue. In Philly, the Toronto Raptors even up their series with the 76ers with a 101-96 win. Raptors' Kawhi Leonard lit up the stat sheet with 39 points and 14 rebounds. Leonard is averaging 30 points per game in this series. The best-of-7 series is tied at 2 games apiece with Game 5 in Toronto on Tuesday. Over in Portland, the Denver Nuggets tied their series with the Portland Trailblazers with a 116-112 victory. Nuggets center Nikolai Jokic, all 7 foot and 250 pounds of him, played his way into a triple-double. 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. This series is also tied at 2 apiece and moves to Denver for Game 5 on Tuesday. And congratulations to the St. Croix Track Club Mustangs, participants in the AAJI Youth Championships held in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Michelle Smith set a new AAJI and VI youth record in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 9.81 seconds. She also won the silver medal in the 100 meters. Akira Joseph finished 7th in the long jump at 13 feet, 5.5 inches. Both athletes competed in the 12 to 13 age group. That's it for sports. Leslie, back to you.
And thank you for that, Gary. That's it for our show tonight. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and via Channel 4 and 504, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Follow us on social media. Tag us on any stories you want to see on News 2, or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tvt.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm Leslie Camisian. We'll see you next time.